Yo guys, and we're back again for the third video in my class guides for Medal of Honor Warfighter. Previously we've covered Point Man and Spec Ops, but in this episode we're covering the Sniper class, which you can certainly have a lot of fun with, and so, once again, let's get started. So the Sniper class, like most games, is the long-range defensive class that can sit back and hold flags or bomb sites from a distance, and pick players off. This doesn't always have to be the case though, and you can actually play the sniper very offensively, and I really enjoy playing as an aggressive sniper, so it can certainly be done both ways depending on your particular preference. You have a fairly slow run speed when you're playing as the sniper, but that isn't too much of an issue as for the most part you're not doing that much running. And really you should be picking corners and watching corners if you are being quite aggressive and moving forward. Now, when you play as a sniper, you are given a G18 machine pistol as your sidearm, and that automatic pistol is very, very useful for defending yourself at close range, or maybe you've missed a sniper shot and you want to just get the rest of the damage with a pistol. You do get grenades, proximity mines as your grenades as standard as well. So these replace your standard grenades, and they're probably your best friend. So these proximity mines, essentially they're little cubes. You throw these cubes out as you would a normal grenade. But when they land, they send trip-wire splines off in various directions that latch onto walls and objects around it. And when they're triggered by a player, they explode, much like a claymore would in Battlefield. Now these are essential for keeping you safe if you hold up, maybe somewhere sniping. But, I just had loads of fun just throwing them at people aggressively when I know there's some players. Maybe I know there's a player behind a wall, throw a proximity mine, and if he moves, it's going to go off. So that's really good fun as well. In this video, I'm using the Macmillan TAC 300. However, there are plenty of really effective snipers, not to mention the 50 cal, which gives off an epic sound when used. And an immense amount of satisfaction as well when you hear that bullet. So let's move on to the special ability of the sniper class, which to me is possibly the most useless of all the classes. It's one that I certainly don't bother using, and that's why in this video you won't actually see me using it very much, if at all. Essentially it's called a remote spotter. And what it does is it allows you to deploy your bipod, for instance when you're proning somewhere maybe. Then when your bipod is deployed, your radar changes into a small funnel shape which is directed to wherever you're looking at with your rifle. And it will mark up any player within that funnel, even if you haven't necessarily seen them. So it will mark them up on your radar. Now it's the exact same ability for this as with the heavy gunner. I'm going to be covering that one next. But I feel that just due to the map size and the amount of players and just generally where the sniper would sit, it doesn't really tend to work that well. A sniper on this game isn't really going to be lying prone on top of a hill like Battlefield. There's very few places for a sniper to sit in that regard. Some of the maps work better for snipers than others. So that I don't find that particular special ability that useful. I'm sure other people have used the ability well, but in my personal opinion, it's a little bit useless. Now it's time for some support actions. Now, you may have noticed from the other videos, there are quite a few duplicates with support actions across the various classes, and the sniper class is no different. For the most part, there's quite a few support actions that are duplicated. Most of all, you'll see the Apache and smoke grenades and whatnot. So, with the sniper class, as the main, the first tier, the sniper has the smoke screen, which we're used to now for the defensive. I don't really need to go into that. And the offensive option is a switchblade. Now, this is something that you deploy on the ground as though it was a mortar. It fires up a mortar or rocket, and you then control this to the ground. You pick like a direction for it, click your mouse button, and it basically fires off in that direction when it's in the sky. It's fairly easy to control for the most part, but it's reasonably limited. But it's a good offensive action for your first action. Now moving on to tier 2, we have a similar action with an 81mm mortar, which you designate in, and once again it's good for defending a flag or bomb site or clearing out an area that you know to have a lot of enemies. And then as the defensive one, once again, we have the fire team replenish, which, as it suggests, it's going to replenish everything for you and your buddy, from ammo to grenades and things like that. So for the third tier, we have, and you may be sensing a pattern here, some rocket artillery. So as you can imagine, the sniper has these designation support actions as they kind of normally would as if they were in the field. You know, from a distance. They'd be playing from a distance and they'd be designating things for other soldiers. The rocket artillery is not too dissimilar from the last mortar, but it's got a bit more punch to it. And as we've now become accustomed, the final tier is, of course, once again, the Apache chopper, which I won't go into again as I've already covered that in previous videos. So that's the base of the sniper class pretty much covered, and a class you can really have a lot of fun with if you use it right. As said before, the 50 cal is a lot of fun, especially with the sound of the rifle blasting off. Proximity mines are a useful addition to the class and essential if you're holed up in a roof or building. Although I will say that the sniper class works better on some maps more than others. So, as we've done with all the videos, let's just jump into game and show you exactly what I was doing with this weapon loadout in this video. Okay guys, so we're here in game now, and this is what I was using. I was actually using the Korean SEAL sniper, the ROKN. Don't know why, it was just one of the first I actually unlocked. There's a couple of cool snipers though. The SEAL's pretty cool, and I think it's the German, yeah, the German KSK, he looks pretty cool as well. But I went with the Korean, but obviously use whatever one you want, it's not going to make a difference. In terms of the weapon, I was using the Macmillan TAC 300. I had the mil dot reticule on it. You can have a different mil dot, and you can have a smaller scope on it should you wish as well. I had the heavy barrel, which just gives it that little bit more range. I had the standard muzzle. I didn't bother with a suppressor because I really don't like the suppressor on this weapon. And I had the precision, I should say, stock as well, rather than the standard stock. Magazine, it's not really going to make a bit of difference unless you want a bit of tape on it. And paint job obviously is personal preference. I went with snow cell. As a side note though, if you want some fun, then you want to go with the TAC 50. TAC 50, 50 cal, awesome weapon, gives off a hell of a thud when you fire it, so give that a go. So that concludes the sniper video. I hope you found it informative. Check out my other guides and videos. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.